So welcome back, friends. A great amount of pressure is uh, going to be built up over the US stock markets over the next several months. We saw a decent correction in the semiconductor stocks. They have recovered over the last 2 days, but the hyperscalers also came back on the back of some good capex by Google and Amazon. So that's a good scenario. That's a plus point. The difficult side is that the capex of the hyperscalers seems to be going to a level that will not be commensurate with the returns that they are expecting from these um, AI related investments in data centers and in developing various other AI related agents, etc. So, and also the Chinese seem to be getting ready to produce uh, semiconductors, microprocessor chips at a much cheaper rate, and which can pose a challenge for the likes of SK Hynix and many of the US semiconductor giants like Nvidia. All these will reach a fruition, a point where combined with the geopolitical crisis in terms of the war between Iran and the United States not coming to an appropriate conclusion, all these can impact the markets quite dramatically as we keep going further into the next 5 months of 2026. The thing that we all need to keep in mind, friends, is that this war is far from over. There will be many more attempts that will be made by the US to make sure that there is peace in the Strait of Hormuz. But right now, I believe some more agitations, some more um, uh, attacks are not ruled out in the month of August, particularly as we go a little further, a couple of weeks into the future. Now, as you have seen that as far as oil remains contained, this has not really impacted the market so dramatically. Crude still remains at $85, but it's not like $150 or so that was uh, uh, predicted by even important sources such as the Economist magazine. So it remains at a much lower level. Yet, there could be an inflection point where people realize that not only is the crude prices not coming down, but they have become so sticky that inflation remains elevated for a consistently long period of time. If that is the case, then the interest rates will also remain elevated for a long period of time. That combined with not commensurate payback from these AI related investments can definitely upset the apple cart, can cause great amount of stress into the systems, and this will feed back and cause some more impact on the semiconductor stocks as we go further. Uh, we have exact timings, and we saw just about 10 days back, we saw a whole week where the semiconductor stocks kept on coming down. And if you were to ask me whether that can repeat itself, I think it's going to repeat very soon once again, which may give an indication of not only another correction, but even what potentially could turn out to be a good crash in AI related stocks going further. The timing of all this is something that needs to be considered. You cannot take it very lightly. And I would say that the writing is on the wall. It's something that is coming soon. You need to take care of. So is the AI party over? Not yet. There is still some steam left, but the thing is that there are these twin headwinds in terms of the geopolitical crisis not coming to an end, Iran and US not seeing eye to eye, and also the fact that this valuations look to be stretched, capex looks to be going over the hilt, and if it is going to suffer an increase in the interest rates, then you will find a scenario where the US markets can feel the pinch much more than what the world does, because if the Federal Reserve is going to contemplate another a new hike in September, already we saw Kevin Walsh looking quite hawkish at the latest Fed meeting. Another meeting is set for the month of September, and we also have a very important Jackson Hole summit coming in the month of August. The words of wisdom that are spoken by the Fed chair and various speakers, Federal Reserve governors at the Jackson Hole meeting can always has some impact on the world financial markets. And as far as I can see, there could be a scenario where many Fed speakers can continue with their hawkish tones at this Jackson Hole summit, which is coming up pretty soon. In fact, Kevin Walsh, when asked about it, said that he had not very closely looked at it, but a period where people would be definitely putting together a lot of things, and it is quite likely that they would need more preparation so that the markets don't get the wrong signal, and at that too at the wrong time. All in all, one can say that the month of August will see sharp swings upside, and at one point of time again the downside may appear in the semiconductor stocks, which can lead to various other effects. For example, recently you had a hedge fund which had grown and owned by a person just 28 years of age, had grown to $40 billion in just a short while. And that lost substantial value and had to be bailed out by Mr. Griffin of Citadel, Ken Griffin, and $40 billion got reduced to $10 billion in just 24 hours. So margin calls can come if another wave of semiconductor stock selling comes, and that can bring down the market also quite substantially with it. So Nasdaq could get impacted. I wouldn't rule out this happening, not on Monday, but in the near future once again, as the entire set of parameters that need to be satisfied look to be coming of age. This, coupled with China coming out with its own semiconductor at a fraction of the price, is reminiscent of what had happened when the Japanese came in big with semiconductors, cheaper ones and better quality in the 1970s, if you recollect. And then we had some time later even South Korea. So every time there's a new country which comes in with a big focus on semiconductor stocks, you feel that sometimes the markets may go ahead and bring about a crash in the stock valuations of US semiconductor companies. So be very watchful. It's not a bearish month, but yet I believe that the tide can turn sooner rather than later. To get to know the perfect timings where these inflections can happen, we would be happy to share them with you on the basis of our research. You can, for the US markets, you can subscribe to our Prime Plus Telegram group, which will give you an overview of where the markets are headed from here. You can do that by WhatsApping us 732-732-2720. Happy investing and have a great week ahead. Take care. Bye-bye.